If you're wondering what to buy for your law school or your university and you don't really know what to buy and what you actually need, this is the video for you. So of course, this list of items that I'm going to be laying out to you or laying out to you, it's definitely personal and something that these are the things that I've definitely used to the T in the past 3-4 years of my law school. So if you think that some of the things are too expensive for you or you can't afford them, or you think that you don't necessarily need them, please do keep watching this video with a pinch of salt and don't take it too seriously. But I believe that all these items that I've laid out for you is not too expensive except the first item, but other than that, everything else is very cheap, very accommodating to your own expenses and as a student life as well, because we all know that we're all broke. So yeah, so I believe that these are the things that will definitely not break the bank and they're very worth the price and worth the money as well. So the first law school essential is definitely a laptop, and this can be any kind of laptop that you might be having, that you might want to buy. But personally, I really love my own MacBook Air that I'm using right now to actually record this video, and it's really good because whenever you're doing your tutorial work, you will need a software, you will need a means to actually edit the work, because sometimes what you will understand that you will find out that sometimes in your tutorial work you might actually edit, you might have to actually add the teacher's comments or teacher's response to a certain question, and usually when you do a handwritten that way you have to actually scrape out or scratch out or delete out certain things, and that makes the notes look very messy. So in those kind of situations, I believe that having a laptop is very essential, because in that way it's very easy for you to delete stuff and edit stuff and add new things at the same time. So I highly recommend for you to get a laptop for sure for law school. And these are the top 3 things you definitely need in your MacBook or whatever laptop that you might be using. Number 1 is a Microsoft Word, Microsoft OneNote, as well as Microsoft Excel, because these 3 things are really important, and I will show you in my future videos how to use these 3 softwares very differently in their own ways for law school. But hopefully this is the first thing that you should definitely need for law school. So the next essential that you definitely need is some stationery items from the store Wilkinson. Now, Wilkinson is my favorite shop in terms of stationery and things that I have to buy in terms of my school or college or even university even, and even doing my master's right now. Wilkinson has been that shop that has been really helpful for buying cheap, good quality stationery items. And the first thing that I'll recommend for you to get from Wilkinson is definitely their exercise books, which are amazing, and they are very soft and very tender, and they're very easy to write on, and they're also equally very cheap. And if you're a student looking for good exercise books, definitely get it from Wilkinson. Number 3 item is from, or the second item from Wilkinson is definitely their binders. The binders, I've been using some of them for the past 5-6 years, and they're still going very strong, and considering that they're only like £1 or £2, it's really commendable. And I believe that every student should get their binders, and as well as their arch files, which is my 3rd item that you should be getting from Wilkinson as well, because in that way you're giving yourself, and the whole reason why you should get an arch file is because let's say you have finished your first term, you can put all the first term things in one arch file, and you can keep reusing those binders that you've already used in the first term. And this is what I've always done in my past 3-4 years of my law school, and has definitely helped me to keep myself organized, my notes organized, my past papers organized, and everything in between. So I highly recommend for you to get these 3 items from Wilkinson in terms of stationery wise. So the first one is the Wilkinson exercise books, which are very cheap and good. Number 2 is the Wilkinson binders, which are very helpful for organizing your modules and each individual modules in law school. And number 3 is your Wilkinson arch files, which are there for you to collect all the notes from term 1 and put them in one side, instead of just keep buying the new binders for the second term, if you know what I mean. So the next thing that I highly recommend for you to get for law school is definitely your Stabilo pastel highlighters. And you might be thinking, why not the neon one? Because I believe the neon ones are actually so dark in terms of the fact that they are too bright for my own liking. So if you're somebody who really likes pastel colors, I think the Stabilo pastel highlighters are really good. And these are actually recommended by one certain YouTuber that I watched about 2 or 3 years ago, but I can't really remember her name. But she really definitely recommended this Stabilo pastel highlighters because they look so good, and every time you're actually highlighting your work, it makes it look really nice, posh, and really nice. And although that's not the most important thing in law school in terms of when you're writing your notes and stuff, but I believe that having Stabilo pastel highlighters is very important. And you don't necessarily have to get the Stabilo ones, but I believe they're the most cheap one that I found that are really good quality at the same time. So Stabilo highlighters are very important in terms of, highlighting your work in your book, your exercise book, your own notes, the past papers, whatever that might be. Highlighters are definitely an essential for law school. So the next item that you definitely need in terms of law school is your pens, and I believe the black pen is like the standard that everyone should have. And the specific brand that I really love is actually from my own back home country, Bangladesh, and it is called Matador pens. And I've actually used these when I was in my second year of law school for my exams, and I was doing handwritten, and also my third year law school as well, and I was doing the handwritten exams and stuff. And that was a really good pen because it was very smooth, very soft, and it does not even leak on the other side of the page, or when you turn the page it does not really leak. So I believe that having these Matador pens are really good, but of course buy something that you're really comfortable with, again, because you don't want to buy something that I'm recommending but you're not really comfortable with, or you've never seen before, so you might not know how it works. But I believe that since I have actually tried a lot of pens before in my life, I know that Matador pens are the best ones in terms of writing your notes, especially in lecture time when you might be given only a few things to write here and there, and that pen is really comfortable for you to write on and write the additional notes. So I highly recommend for you to purchase the Matador pens. So the next essential thing that you definitely need is a bullet journal or any kind of planner that you might be using to write your to-do list, your spreads, your monthly spreads, your weekly spreads, your daily to-do list, whatever that might be. You need something that you are using to make sure that you are tracking yourself of the things that you have to do during the day. And for me, that's definitely a bullet journal. And as someone who has used both, the planner, the academic planners that you get for one whole set year, and then you have bullet journal, and then you have the online calendar blocking kind of things. I believe that the best one is definitely bullet journal because first of all, you can do whatever you like with it. There is no certain layout that you have to follow or you have to put yourself under and you have to pressurize and commit yourself to. Number two is something that you can use for over a long period of time. For example, I've used my bullet journal certain cases for over 3 years and it has still worked out, and I've been still using that. And as a student, you want to keep your expenses as minimum as possible, so having a bullet journal is really good for that. And number three, you can actually customize the wherever you like. So if you like colorful things, you can add color to it. If you like black and white like I am right now, then that's also really good for that as well. So having a bullet journal or any kind of academic planner or any kind of thing that you're using to write your to-do list is very important in law school. The next purchase that you definitely have to make is a good USB, and I have two different types of USBs that I actually use. So the first one is like those big ones where you can actually keep too many things, and I don't know what they're called, but they're like, I like to call them the big USB. And in there you can actually save your work, whatever that might be. You can save your pictures, your documents from the past 10 years, and it's still like not full. So having a big USB is very important in terms of saving your work after you've, for example, especially finished your essay that you have to submit for the next few days. But you don't want to have the risk of actually, what if the computer breaks down or your software doesn't work, what are you going to do then? So it's very important to save your work in a USB, and you can purchase definitely the big one or the small one, it doesn't really matter, but as long as you have a USB next to you is very important. And I highly recommend to buy a one that has at least 64 gigabyte, was it? I don't even know. I'm not really good at saying anything like that, but have a USB where you can actually save your work and you're not fully dependent on your laptop in terms of that. And the last thing that I would definitely recommend for you to purchase is your own pocket wallets. So now if you're somebody who has planned that you want to buy binders and all those kind of things, then definitely make sure that you are purchasing pocket wallets, especially because you want to keep your notes. Some of them are very important and some of them might be really it's not very accessible to you, so whenever you get them you have to keep them very carefully. Pocket wallets are for that kind of situation is really helpful, because then you can save your work and you don't risk, if let's say water leaks in your bag, that pocket wallet will protect your notes in a way. So that's the whole purpose of a pocket wallet, I would say. So having a couple of them in each of the binders of your core modules is very important, because then your notes are going to be protected, and also you can carry them wherever you like. You don't have to carry the whole binder to law school every single time when you have a tutorial or you have a lecture. So you can just keep those important notes inside those pocket wallets so that your bag also will feel really light, and that's what I've always done in my law school years. So I highly recommend for you to purchase some pocket wallets as well. So this brings me to the end of today's video. I hope you really enjoyed this video on all the things that you actually need in law school, and I don't want you to overbuy but at the same time underbuy as well. So I hopefully think that this list will definitely help you, because these are some of the things that I have used from the past 3 years in my law school, and I've used every single one of these things. It's not that I've not used anything out of this list and anything is missing out. So I highly recommend for you to really rewatch this video, make notes, and write down all the things that you actually need for law school, because these will definitely help you and make your life much easier in law school, which is very hectic, busy, and too much reading to do. But other than that, please do keep an eye on the videos that I'm going to be uploading in the next few weeks, which are all related to law school and how to prepare and everything like that. But other than that, I'll see you in my next week's video.